is no one's going to pay you $500,000 a year if you're not delivering $500,000 worth of service.
We're here with the one, the only MOD, Michael O'Donnell, back at, we got to make this a tradition, man.
I know, right?
Door-to-door con.
Yes.
So I think this is the fourth podcast, is that right?
I think it's the fourth podcast we've done, starting with my very first podcast ever.
The one that started it all.
Well, they say, how can people get a hold of you? I put my cell phone number, and people are still calling me from having my cell phone number on your podcast.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, if you want his number, you got to go listen to the first
podcast one.
Yeah, we're going to make you work for it. But yeah, so you always know it's going to be great content, a great time when you have MOD on, and I'm excited to talk because a lot of changes just in the solar industry, door to door, and like we were talking before, I think it's going to be up from here. But 2024 was kind of a tougher year in solar, and I think there's going to be a great recovery. So we'll get into that. But I guess so. It's been, I think, 2 years since we last had you on, Mike. So do you want to fill us in? Maybe it's tough to remember, but do you remember what happened in the past 2 years?
It's funny you're talking about content, and Donald Trump gets a lot of crap for being what he says and whatnot. But he's covered. Billy Bush just came out on a podcast where he's talking about that whole incident on the extra bus where he got Trump in a lot of trouble, or Trump got in a lot of trouble for what he said. He said, the network used to have me cover Trump all the time because he was a soundbite machine. He would just say stuff, like Rosie O'Donnell or something, and everyone goes crazy. And he happened to be covering him that day when that thing happened. So that was kind of historic.
Well, it's funny. I was talking with Diane, your assistant here, yesterday, and I was telling her that, I watched a lot of the Trump rallies and stuff like that. And Trump's really good at he'll answer questions, but he can talk for, a long time.
He has a phrase for it. He calls it weaving.
Yeah, the weave.
He weaves.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get there eventually. After I say 5 things I want to say, I'll get to your answer to your question.
Yeah, but like Trump, he could talk all day, about
That's what Billy Bush said. He said, what do you mean me getting him to say that? You don't tell Trump what to say. He just talks at you.
So I was telling Diane, I'm like, man, in some ways, Mike, he can go and talk about solar all day long if he wants to. So in some ways, I feel like he's like the Trump of solar.
No, I don't need that tagline.
I'm in it.
Well, if you want to talk about winning and winning and winning and coming back and winning again, maybe, I got to get that.
In a good way, right? But so you definitely got a gift though, because on stage I've seen you can go on and on, and I think it really is a gift. People that can just train. So it's not like some people, they talk forever and it becomes boring. You're like, okay, when's this guy gonna shut up?
Stop talking.
But Mike, you could I never get bored to listen to you, man.
I might just go Rosie O'Donnell on you or something.
So we're gonna try to not make this an all-day podcast. I know we got stuff to get to.
Busy time here at DDDCon 8. We're on the floor. It's live here at my booth. Good to see you, man.
It'll be fun. So I guess first question, Mike, 2024, I know you guys, your company, Sun Solar Solutions, right? Okay. So I know you guys have been doing a lot more with the dealer program. I know you've expanded into other states. I'm buddies with Chase, your guy that's over the whole
Chase Anderson, my man, VP of our partnerships, and does all of our business development with dealers and account management, and he's just been a tremendous find and a score to have him on board with us.
Great guy.
Val and I just cherish him. Glad he's here.
Yeah, so good. I was in Italy with him a couple months ago. Great guy.
I heard about that trip. That sounded awesome.
It's fun. So so for you, Mike, what was maybe Chase helps a lot with that, but what was the vision behind expanding? Because before, it seemed like you guys were all just, we're only going to focus in Arizona. What's been maybe the shift that's opened you guys more up to expanding and going into other states and everything?
Well, we've had a strategy for a long time of being nationwide solar contractor installation sales company. It just so happens that we're on track for that strategy to come in last place. We're gonna come in last to be the nationwide solar company, but we're on our way. We're in 4 states right now. So, but we've never been interested in growing too fast. We've never been interested in being anywhere before we were ready to be there. We could handle it operationally, financially, and then from a value standpoint, we approach the partnership in sales much differently And I think we come from a place of having been a sales org for a number of years, with a huge Titanic type company, and went through this series of having that work out well and not work out well. So we have a really good understanding of what we want in a partner, and what we wanted in a partner when we were selling and needed a great installation company. And then what went wrong, and that's eventually what caused us to become an installer. We could not get the level of quality, we could not get the level of specifications to install it properly. We felt like we were the only ones demanding transparency with the customer in terms of what the thing would sell for and what would the remaining bill be to the customer. And so we were almost forced to become an installer. It's now quite a few years ago. But we did that so that we would have the ability to guarantee the product to the customer. And we did it on just for our own sales at first, and for several years just for our own sales. But then we were able to guarantee the customer they were going to get not just a 25-year warranty on the roof, we could guarantee them the roof wasn't going to leak for 25 years.
That's good.
And that's what we wanted. And not only that, we knew the installation was going to be good. We knew the customer wasn't going to come home to a red tag on their meter. My partner Val Barricade is obsessed with quality, obsessed with process, but mostly what he's obsessed with is the customer having a 5-star experience. And that's why we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews online, and 5 stars with the Better Business Bureau, and 5 stars with just about everything you can imagine. That's because we pay attention to detail. We make sure that what the customer signed up for is what they were sold. We make sure that what they were sold gets installed, and we make sure that what was installed works for 25 years. They're going to get a production guarantee. They're going to get an installation warranty. They're going to get a warranty that says their roof's not going to leak for 25 years. And we don't want to fix their roof. So instead of, and I had a huge guy in the solar installation world once told me, "Oh, Mike, we could install it that way and it wouldn't leak for 25 years. But you know what? It's just a lot cheaper to install it the other way and fix the ones who leak." And then mine leaked, my sister's leaked, my brother's leaked. I'm like, and I can't get away from those people. They're my relatives. And when it's raining on the inside of your house, that doesn't feel like a warranty issue. That kind of feels like you effed up my house. You know what I mean? Like, it's raining, my house is ruined. You ruined my house. You want to talk about being a referral canceller? Dude, you're never getting a cancellation. You're never getting a referral if you make it rain on the inside of someone's house.
They don't want that. I mean, in California, at the time we're recording this, there's crazy fires going on in California.
Oh my gosh, Altadena is wiped off the face of the map.
I know. And it's like, I'm getting calls from customers where they thought the battery was going to be kicking in, and still a customer. Unfortunately, the installation company I use, they don't have PTO for the customer, and we don't have the battery turned on. So like, hey Taylor, why isn't my system up? They're without power right now.
And that's heartbreaking. When I get a customer call me and things are not going right, man, I mean, my heart aches. I want to make it right. And if there's nothing I can do, I want to be able to do something when a customer's having an experience that's not right.
I know. And if you think about it, like, if you can just get it right the first time and do a quality job, because now I'm having to take time where I could be selling more to go like troubleshoot this customer, help it out, like I'm working with our support team and everything.
Dude, I had no idea when Sam Taggart was handing me 2 Golden Door Awards and 2 Golden Door Awards. And I'm thinking, and like the best in the business are getting 1. I'm thinking, guess I'm just that good. But as it turns out, I was the only one that had a solar company wrapped around my butt, built so that I could do what I do. And Val literally built the company around me and Troy, who were selling, 2-3 million watts of solar every year. But that's because of 2 things. One, Val realized that while we were really good at sales, Troy and I were not really good at much anything else. So everything else had to be taken off of our plate, including proposals, including customer, contact and staying over the customer. So all of that's been done for me from day one. And I'm like, I don't have anything to do. But knock on doors and sell. And I'm like, I guess that made a difference. So there's I found out it would have been physically impossible to sell 2.5 million watts of solar in any one year if I was also doing the job of the project coordinator, project manager, and the proposal engineer. So you stack those jobs up, and you're not gonna, you're gonna be kicking ass to get to 1 million watts of solar.
I think any high performer I talk to, they tell me they know how to delegate. It's like they're not spending all this time on creating proposals. They're not spending all this time on project management. They have other people to do that.
And this might sound grandiose, but if you are on track to sell, 1 million, let alone 2 million, and you divide your hours worked by pay, you're going to find that your hourly rate is hundreds of dollars an hour, maybe $500 an hour if you're operating at scale. And if you're spending your life doing $50 an hour work, that just doesn't make any sense.
True.
And so a lot of great sales guys have had to, I guess, build out infrastructure for that. I've just been super lucky that from day one, I've been in a company that builds all that into the job of the installer. So the installer's responsible for the proposal, that it's right, that it has all of the adders already in it, so there shouldn't be any adders after the sale. That the customer knows what it's going to cost, and he knows what the remaining bill is going to be, so they know their cost of energy after solar, not just what the monthly payment's going to be. And then if they have any issues, like, we're going to answer the phone with our person in America. We're going to answer the phone, and we're going to understand what the issue is. We're going to call them 12 hours, within 12 hours after. We're going to call them tomorrow morning after you sell it. We're going to talk to them 2-3 times in the first day or two.
That's awesome.
And then we're just going to stay with them, man. And I had no idea how much that was impacting until we became an installer. We started dealing with other companies. And the weird thing was, some of them wanted to insist on these other processes. No, I want to be sitting at the kitchen table in Solo and making this proposal. I'm like, what in the, if you have time with a customer, why in the world would you be like moving panels around on a house? Like, dude, that's not my thing. I'm not an engineer. I'm not good at it. And why would somebody want to watch me do somebody else's job? Never made sense to me.
That's true.
And then walking out of the house, same thing, that they were going to be taken care of. And I'm down the road selling. I'm knocking and selling. So understanding the value of that really came to stark relief as I started working with more and more people that didn't have the benefit of that. I'm like, wow, would I have even one golden door if I was dealing with that? And that, the answer to that question is I don't know.
It's a great concept. I don't know if you've heard of or read the book, Buy Back Your Time.
Buy Back Your Time,
one of my favorite books last year.
I had that happen for me and I didn't even know it. Like, I guess I got time to knock. I'll go knock some more doors.
I know. But yeah, just like, things as simple as like laundry too. Like, I got 3 kids myself. And I realized, I've told this on the podcast before, but I was spending like all day Saturday nights, all day Sunday, just doing laundry.
Getting laundry done. $500 an hour guy doing laundry. Come on, spread that work around. There are people that need jobs. There are people that need work. And $50 an hour is really good money. For a lot of people. Give that work to people who can do it. Something that happened for Marsha and I mean, she was making very good money as a nurse. And, year one, I'm making money and she's making money. And we're looking at those two numbers and we're like, does it make sense for her to leave, drive to Tempe every day and go do this to bring home this much money? And we said to ourselves, how much more could I sell if she were helping me manage my sales team? And so she retired as a nurse and came on full-time onto my sales team. And that was another, same thing, buy back your time, right? She was handling all the commissions and all of that stuff. So that I didn't have to get involved. I wasn't, I wouldn't have been good at that anyway. I'd have been really bad at that. So
that's crazy how much more attention to detail. Women are just naturally much better at things like that. So my wife's doing a lot of it too.
You get married to an entrepreneur, you're going to end up an executive assistant. That's just happening.
Exactly. Part of the job. So, I was talking with Chase yesterday too, Mike, and he was telling me that getting dealers on board, his job's the easy part, because he's like, he was comparing it to Tesla. He's like, you guys have such a good brand, such strong brand recognition that people just come on. But I'm curious, because I'm talking with a few other business owners, guys at solar companies, and some of them talk about, man, there's these companies that offer these long warranties, like 25 years on the roof, for example. And it's like, how do they stay in business? Because we've seen so many companies go out of business. You think companies that don't have strong finances in place, 12 years when they're getting calls about the roof, having to pay for all that, it gets expensive. And I think that's one of the questions that few people brought up during one of these solar CEO panels. So for what's your, I don't know if you have an answer for that. What's your guys, do you guys set aside more money for the deal?
Well, so if you give somebody a 25-year warranty, that's a contingent liability. You have potentially a bill to pay in the future, and that affects your financial statements. And that's what Mark Bench from TriSmart was talking about on the owners panel today, is that if you offer somebody 25-year roof's not going to leak and it leaks, you have to fix the roof. And that's a bill that's coming 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And when a real, CPA firm does your financials and you do real ones, like they're audited, they're going to go, well, you might have to pay this money in the future. That belongs in your financial statements. And that's going to affect your, your net worth, your ability to borrow money. And you can't just say stuff and then go, oh, we're not going to worry about it. But, the real answer is to just do it right the first time, so that contingent liability ends up being as close to zero. It's never going to be totally zero, but as close to zero as possible. I was told that one of the gigantic companies that went out of business was getting $10,000 a week in warranty work, new warranty work. And at the same time, business has fallen off. Permits are down 46% in the United States. So if permits are down and costs are up, that's we know now. We know what happens when that happens. So.
That's crazy. So it's refreshing to have companies that do it right, and like we're talking about, nothing worse than having to deal with stuff on the back end. But and as you guys have expanded, has it been tough to maintain the same quality because you're bringing on other people? Do you send people from Arizona that are kind of trained and have them?
Yeah, we do that.
Start out, or what's?
And that's why we're going to be in last. We're not going to open up till we're ready. So we go slowly. It's taken us years to get into 4 states, right? And we're starting to accelerate because we now know more about how to do that, and we've had to, the opportunity to collaborate with, a number of people in the space. We're at D2D Con, getting to sit with, a panel with Mark Bench and Alan Bolin, these guys that know because they've done it, getting the opportunity to pick their brain in RSA. So being involved in the industry to really find out and leverage what other people have already learned and not having to learn it again, I think is a benefit that we have. There's nothing new under the sun, but we insist on being ready financially, and then ready operationally. And our director of operations, moved to Texas and just lived in Texas. And there he's interviewing people, training people, hiring people. And then by the time that thing's ready to be set up, then he'll be ready to go to Florida, where we're opening up later this month. January, February is our opening in Florida. So he'll move to Florida. So he's looking forward to doing that, right? But that makes geographic expansion, you have to give it the time that it takes. What's
been the hardest part? Just learning the different jurisdictions and net metering and all that, or is there any stories or things
I
that
think
have been
we're probably better set up than most to understand what the permitting process is going to be. We do that we have a headquarters, and we don't need to replicate that, that permitting process. We don't need to replicate the proposal process. We don't need to replicate the customer interaction process. Getting to the local codes, I'm not going to say that's easy, but it's a small percentage of the up curve of learning. So I think we're showing up with a good 70% of what you need to know, and what you need to do. And Las Vegas was a real challenge because in Vegas created this, W-2 employee only situation. You can't sell solar in Nevada if you're not a W-2 employee. And yet we have these great partners, right? Great sales partners, and so we had to figure out a way to do business with them so that their sales org worked and that we met the spirit and the letter of the law for having all solar salespeople be W-2 employees. So that's a challenge. So figuring out the unique geographic challenge is a part. Texas, obviously, they have all these choices. It's deregulated. They can pick any one of 20 or 30 companies. When you're in Dallas and Houston, they got billboards up, free nights and weekends. It's like they're selling cell phones for the electric companies, So there is a local acclimation, but really, for us, we've now installed, 15,000 systems, and there's never been a single person not paid on Friday. On Friday, and M1 and an M2, and then Friday after installation, we didn't get paid because some gigantic company didn't get their funding to come in. It's like our job's to pay you. So we want to make sure financially we've got everybody secured, paid, and that's been a hallmark of people trusting us and wanting to do business with us.
That's great. So speaking of Vegas, what did you guys do? All the sales partners, did you guys just try to bring them in W-2 then? Or
So we set up a process where all of their salespeople are onboarded. They are now employees of Sun Solar Solution, and not like wink, wink, fake, fake. Because Vegas is dead serious. That market's been just horrifically impacted by horrible solar companies blitzing so they could party their ass off in Vegas for 3 months. And not knowing how Nevada energy works, not knowing how the permit process works, not knowing how the electrical boxes need adders for these things and those things. So they've just been, and then getting promised, the consumers being promised things that just aren't true. Like Nevada Energy has a very specific and a very good, it's a great market from a utility standpoint. They really offer the customer a very, very fair deal. If I could put the Nevada Energy utility deal in place everywhere, I would do it. They were one-to-one net metering. They said that's not fair. And all of the net metering deals are being challenged because they're not fair. It's not fair if the utility does all the buying and selling, all of the accounting, all of the connectivity, all of the oversupply of anything they need, and then they buy and sell at the same price. And so they're able to convince the states that they're in that that's not fair, and the state goes, yeah, that doesn't sound fair. So Nevada Energy went back and forth, big lawsuits, they just ripped it away and then had to put it back. So they came back with net metering, but they came up with a plan to reduce the buyback rate to the customer in staunches. So it was 100, then it was 92, and then 88, and then so they sold so many million watts of all the way down. And now it's at 75%. So the homeowner gets 75% of retail. So if they're selling at 20 cents, the customer gets 75% of 20 cents. And that will go up as prices go up. And that's a very, very 75%. They get a 25% margin. Any business, now they don't like 25%, but any business should be able to operate on a 25% margin. So that's a fair deal. So understanding that and knowing that, Vegas really is making sure that there's no wink, wink, fake, fake. We're getting around this loophole. They want to make sure those guys are employees. Why? Employees of a company are representing what that company really does. And you can say, your employee told this guy, this is what it would do. And don't tell me you don't know what he said. He's your employee. And so we take that very seriously. Our partners take that very seriously, and we figured out a structure that absolutely meets the spirit of that, the letter of it, and yet the sales organization and partners able to do well and make money and do their thing. So that wasn't easy. It was tricky. The temptation is to go with the guys who come up with these great ideas on how to get around it.
Is there companies doing that?
I'm one of the guys who will come up with those, and Val will go, yeah, we're not doing that. No, sorry. No, this is, in order to do it right, you have to do it this way. I'm like, God, it sounded like a good idea. It's like, yeah, it sounded like a good idea because it was too good to be true. Like, okay, all right. It's too good to be true.
No, it's, I saw tons of press, people on the news just talking about how they got screwed over in Nevada. So
there's some installer people going to jail. I won't talk any names or whatever, but there's people that are going to go to jail there. And if people don't do it right in the future, they're going to go to jail and get shut down. So
I know, and I think that's why we all got to learn from some of the mistakes that happen in Nevada, some of the other states, because if we don't, I think it's only a matter of time. They're going to do this in every state, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I actually like the direction Nevada went with. We're going to make companies responsible, that the customers who signed up with them get what they were promised, and that they were promised what it does. As opposed to California does that, the license, the home seller license thing.
Home improvement.
And then it's up to every individual dude, to not have handed his license to some other dude. So I like that companies should be responsible. I think we're coming into a new time in solar. I absolutely believe 2025 is year one of the solar gold rush 2.0. And it's going to be hallmarked by a completely different set of things that people think are awesome. And now what people are going to think is awesome is that the customer was treated with respect, was transparently offered a product that does what they say that it was going to do, and they end up being a 5-star. They end up being a 5-star experience, 5-star review customer. I think that's going to be the coin of the realm. To be partnered with people that are going to do that. Because I tell you what, if I heard this from one, I heard it from 300 people, how much they were able to sell at whatever low, this, that, red line, rev share line, free batteries, whatever the weird stuff they're telling me, and then install 200 deals and not get paid on half of them ever. And all kinds of, and every deal doesn't have the amount they thought they were going to get paid. That's just a bad way to do business. If you have to make your margin by short paying that's not a way to. Let's decide what's fair. Let's do a good business. But the coin of the realm is going to be referrals, right? So currently, we've installed approximately 3 million solar systems from 2010 to 2024.
Wow.
We're going to install 30 million solar systems from now to the end of the decade, the next 5-6 years. That's a 10x. So the important thing is going to be great customer brand, great customer experience referrals coming from customers, so that when you sell one, you get 5 more.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be important. And that when you do the work, you know the phone's going to ring later with referrals with, hey, talk to this guy, go talk to your neighbor.
Yeah.
One of the things I love is I open up my my rep card. Yeah. Shout out to our rep card friends over there.
Yeah.
And I have all my customers in rep card.
That's great.
And every street I'm on, I usually have 1 or 2 customers on that street. And I'll say, and I won't talk to them. I'll just point at their house. Those are the river sons. Go talk to them and ask them what their experience was. And they go do that. And they come back and they go, that was, it's just like your reviews.
Yeah.
They said what your reviews say. And I didn't go call them. I just sent them over there. And it's possible they could find some grumpy person, but I'm comfortable doing that, and that makes me a 10 times better salesperson.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, and we've seen some companies, expand and get all these dealers coming and selling for them, and it can be like the wild west. Some dealer, a bad salesperson will say whatever, and then comes back on the install company. So, I mean, I'm sure Chase has helped with this, but what do you guys do to set the expectation that, hey, if you're selling, if we're installing your accounts, you got to be setting exactly this expectation. You can't be.
Yeah, well, first of all, we have a different objective. We're not trying to sign up 300 dealers. We don't want to be that EPC. We don't want to be an EPC.
Okay.
We want to be a solutions provider. We want to be partners with someone who wants to build value, deliver value, and then build a business based on having a big customer list that has received that value. Okay. So we're not looking for large numbers of dealers. We're very, very discriminating about who we do business with. Okay. We want to make sure that the people that we're doing business with align with us ethically, align with us from a value perspective.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you have to pay more. We're as competitive as anybody else who's doing things, even halfway right.
Right.
But at the same time, what we're not going to do is allow somebody to go out and come up with a napkin and tell someone they're getting 40 panels and then hand that in and go install it. It's going to be, they're going to have had a proposal that shows them what it's going to do. They're going to have paperwork that is accurate.
Yeah.
We're going to have checked the usage. We're going to have done the stuff so that, I can't tell you how many deals that we've had from people we do think are super ethical, and I think they're trying to be, and they have a solar system where the usage is 12,000. and then we pull up the utility bill and it's 20,000. And they're like, oh, we got it wrong. Well, no, what's wrong are the numbers, and what's wrong is the customer expectation. If they think they're going to get, $130 solar bill and it's going to get rid of their $300 electric bill, it's not going to do that. And they're going to be mad really fast. They're going to be mad really soon. So making sure that those, values align and practices align, and making sure that we are getting that value delivered. But on the other hand, and it gets installed, we've installed thousands and thousands of these. We haven't had a single one of them leak. Not one of them leak. And that's just because if you do it right, they're not going to leak. If a roofer put a solar system on, it wouldn't leak. When a solar company puts a solar system on, there's like a 1 in 3 chance it's going to leak. So it all depends on what your objective is. If you're building a hamburger, you want to just ramp it up and flip it and get out of it, right? If you're building a business, you want it to have long-term value. You want the phone to ring. Hey, I'm moving. I need another solar system at my new house. Hey, my brother just bought a house. And he needs solar. So here's his number, call him. I told you to call him, right? That's the kind of referrals you want. I've been a customer of yours for 3 years. I have a customer. I take him out for dinner every New Year's because he's bought 7 solar systems from me. It's kind of a playboy, and he's single and bought it. Bought his mom one. Then he meets a girl, puts solar on her house, and then they move in together in another house and put solar on that house. Then they didn't like that house, they bought another house and put solar in that house.
Wow.
So, and he's like, I need, got a new address, give me a solar quote. And I just send him a quote and, tell him what the deal is, and we sign him up. That's building a business.
That's awesome. Business. Yeah, so I want to, while we still have time, Mike, I want to talk a little bit. We've been talking about just kind of broader things. I want to talk about some sales here. I know it's been, 2-3 years since you came out with your book?
No matter what.
No matter what. Yeah, got it in Spanish now too, I see. Pase lo que pase.
Yes. I'm super excited about that. The Latin community has just embraced me. Not even looking for it, but they invited me to come speak and do a keynote talk at the Latin Solar Con, the first one in Vegas, and then this year in Houston. And Man, I've got all kinds of social media with me speaking in like Telemundo broadcaster Spanish to be like, O'Donnell, I didn't know you speak Spanish. That's all AI,
Okay,
obviously.
AI,
but
yeah.
it's been fun having that community because they're starving for information. They're like, we want to sell this, and like we can't find people who can explain it to us. So so I have that, and then I have Spanish subtitles in my academy and stuff. So it's been just a lot of fun getting embraced by that community.
Yeah, no, it's smart because some of our top guys in California, like they're the Mexican guys that just sell them purely.
That's a great market, man. I look for bilingual guys. I love bilingual men and women who can sell. Because we're in our headquarters market's Arizona. And then Nevada, Texas, I mean, that's a huge component to be successful in that market.
Yeah, important. So I know you've been still doing a lot of training, consulting, coaching. So since you released the book, has anything changed in, I don't know, your programs or anything you're doing different as far as like the coaching, training for companies and guys?
So it's just gotten stronger and stronger. So the need for real sales training, the reason I was able to sell, 2.5 million watts of solar every year, because I knew how to do it. When I showed up in solar, I already knew how to do it. I'd started selling solar in 1984. And I got brought on by some guys who had sold, aluminum siding and windows and big satellite dishes, and they knew large ticket home improvement, today only closing. They knew how to do it. They're like, Mike, don't think you're coming back. You're not coming back. So they taught me how to. So when the customer says, can you give me this proposal? Can I let you know in a day or two? Here's how you handle that. So I was taught how to do that. So when I started showing up and I'm selling 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, and everyone else is selling 1 out of 5, that made a huge impact. And so creating the book, telling that story, and then the MOD Sales Academy, and getting that training down, right? Getting that training so it's mechanized. And number one, I use that for my training. Number two, now I'm using it with my sales partners, right? To get them just up and selling. In fact, that's one of the things I really love about what we're doing. I've never seen an EPC, which again, I don't think of us as an EPC, right? A solutions provider. And part of the solution we're providing is how to sell this stuff. How to take your reps and take them to a new level. And so that's really where I focus my time. We've mechanized it with the MOD Sales Academy. And then I do live training every single solitary day, Monday through Friday in person. I do that at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. And so one of the things that's changed when we first put it together, I had a lot of cost involved. That's all been taken care of. And so it was pretty expensive to be a part of that. Now at Duty Decon, I have individual solar sales dudes and roofing dudes, and I got all kinds of door-to-door folks. It's very similar. I just happen to sell solar, right? But it's the MOD Sales Academy, how to sell high-ticket home improvement sales tickets, and how to get the order today, how to make the appointment, how to make the presentation, how to close today. And there's a very specific sequence on how to do that. And I teach people exactly how to do that. And the key is really having that customer attain the courage to let the customer know in the very first 10 minutes of the meeting that they're not coming back. I'm not coming back. And have them understand that, by the way, you're not coming back, right? This isn't the meeting about the meeting, and there's not going to be another meeting. Like 95 times out of 100, there's not a second meeting. So if you don't serve the customer in this meeting, you've let the customer down. They have failed to receive the benefits that they were excited about. Like, can you imagine the regrets I have in solar are getting the call from somebody that I pitched 4 years ago when they could have had net metering, and now they missed it, and they wanted it, they were excited, and somehow I couldn't find what I needed for them to be able to move forward and get the process started. And 4 years later, I'm putting a system on that's, they just missed out on a lot of things. So those are the regrets I have, and really trying to get solar salespeople to understand what a valuable service this is. No one's going to pay you $500,000 a year if you're not delivering $500,000 worth of service. No one's going to pay you $1 million. You might accidentally make $1 million in a year, but you're not going to make $1 million year after year after year. Unless you're worth $1 million, somebody will figure out a way to get that money away from you, unless you're the one delivering the value. And that's the weird thing. It's counterintuitive. Nobody thinks that they're delivering the value by getting someone to make a decision today and get the process started today. But that's actually the job. That's actually the value, because none of the value of solar attributes to the customer unless they sign and get the paperwork started and start the process. They can't finish the process if they don't start the process. So teaching people to have the courage and the conviction to say things like, I'm not going to be coming back. Now let me explain to you why. So they go, oh, I get that.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand. Oh, I see what your job is. I know what you do. And so at the end, when they say, can you email me this proposal? We're going to need to spend a lot of time reviewing. I'll be like, yes, I can email you the proposal. Can you come back on Friday? No. There's no chance. And what we're doing is we're creating the most powerful close. And people think it's high pressure. It's not high pressure. It's just the fact. I'm not coming back. I'm not. I'm not coming back. I mean, if you sign, I'll come back. I'm now doing a thing where I do a reduced cancellation strategy where I made sure me and my reps come back within 48 hours with a gift. Hey, here's your first sunflower solar collector. By the way, what are you guys talking about since I left? You know, trying to get the vibe and the objections that come up from the solar coaster from after I leave. But from a sales standpoint, my job is to be in 3 or 4 of these things every single day, and I'm not going to get that job done if I'm chasing people around who can't make a damn decision anyway. They're not for me anyway. You know, I'm going to turn them over. You know, so at the end of this meeting, and that's what I'm explaining to them, I'm going to get my job done. I'm going to get my job done. At the end of this meeting, we're going to reach a fork in the road, and you're going to become a solar project that's underway, or you're going to become a lead. I actually met a guy yesterday who says that to guys who go, I don't really say that. Marcia says all the time, do you tell people when you don't really say that? I don't tell people they're going to become a lead. I tell them we have a department to follow up, and they will. They're awesome. By the way, are you impressed with really good follow-up from a sales organization? Man, are you going to be impressed with these guys?
I love that.
Holy shit, they're good. Man, you're not going to forget you were interested in solar. But that's not my job. I don't do that. And so able to build that and have the customer understand it. And then when they ask you, can we sign for this one? Oh yeah, you can, but it won't be with me. Right? And they want you. At this point, they want, and that's the takeaway. It's not pressure, it's just mastering the sales process so that it does deliver the value. Because if you are not good at that, and your closing percentage is industry-wide average of about 18%, there's a lot of people who are going to miss the value and the benefits of solar at the right time because you didn't know how to do what you were doing, man. They sent you to the house to get a job done. So know how to do that job. Be trained how to do that job. So in the MOD Sales Academy, people say, where does this come from? Where'd you get this speech? That's not a speech, it's a conversation. And I'm having that conversation every day, and every day that conversation changes. It's not just training, it's a mastermind. Every day, somebody who's been in solar for like 11 minutes says something that I never thought of. And I'm like, oh my God, I never thought of that. You know? And now all of a sudden I'm equipped with that. I'm getting better and better and better at knocking on doors, making appointments, and closing, because the value of having 50, 60 people in a mastermind on a call, all coming up with the very best of what their experience is, and then handing it to me. And then me incorporating it back into the training. So the training, you said, what's changed? The training changes all the time. And that's because I'm always trying to be talking about at the door and at the table and at the close with unbelievably urgent, unbelievably compelling shit they just heard on TV. Right? Like, I heard about that. That's what's going on. Trump's gonna, holy smokes, he's gonna get rid of the IRA. You better get it now, pal. That's over. You know, we gotta get going, man. So that's changing all of the time because the circumstances on the ground. I mean, I can't believe how fast they change.
I know.
So being able to equip people with that, man, that's my favorite part. People say, what's your favorite? Why are you passionate about this? I love this. I love doing it. When I'm sitting with a customer and they go, oh, I get it. I'm not trying to save $30 a month. I'm trying to end up 150 grand ahead. If I capture this 25-year payment stream, and instead of having this villainous monopoly have this 25-year payment stream, I'm going to end up tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars ahead. That's why they want the business. And we're going to capture that payment stream and run it into our own power plant deal. You're going to end up so far ahead when a customer goes, oh, I get it. I had 3 solar guys talk to me, and I thought, why the hell would I go $50,000 into debt to save $35 a month? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, that doesn't make sense. And so you have to learn how to really sell solar. That's a completely different. And if you're still selling solar on savings, that's why you're not here anymore. So we lost, 46% decrease in permits is 46% less sales, which is probably 46% less people in the industry, right? If you made it through that, you've survived an ordeal, right? And now that it's time, and the ordeal was selling solar when solar didn't provide much or any savings.
Yeah.
And if you've learned how to sell solar, you're going to be in such great shape. This tide's coming back in, interest rates are coming back down. This is going to be year one of the solar gold rush 2.0.
I know. Well, I've just talked to some people. I think the guys that can make it through some of the slumps, because a lot of people have left, but the guys that stick with it, stay in the trenches, those are the ones that are going to be the natural leaders
100%.
that I've seen.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are going to be making the big money because they're going to be leading the teams, they're going to be leading the companies when the dust settles, right?
And everybody who's left to go and back and sell pest control, just be kind of waving at us as we pass them by again.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so true, because I mean, perfect example, California, net metering changed, all the reps that were making.
It's over. Solar's over.
Yeah, they were all selling based off the savings.
Yeah.
And
Solar's over.
I know from my own team, I saw dozens and dozens of guys that couldn't make it just because they really didn't know how to sell. They just were selling up purely savings, and then now that people
and in California was one of the few places you could actually pull that off.
Yeah.
Because there really was, you could get $100 a month in savings.
Yeah.
Most of the places, it's going to be hard to muster if everything's right and transparent. $30, $40, $50 a month in savings.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that on a lot of proposals. There's just going to be, look, my pitch to anybody is, how much does solar cost? It costs less.
Yeah.
What are you spending out? It's less than that. How much less? Do you care about that?
Yeah.
Do we need to get you another $50 a month so you guys can get out, to Wendy's one more time a month? That's not the idea. That's not the problem. The problem is, and the issue is what's going to happen to you and your family if you don't go solar. And I know how to demonstrate that. I know how to show you that with an amount of conviction where you're going to go, shit, that's really bad news, man. I'm not here with good news. I'm here with bad news. I have a solution to the bad news. But if you're knocking on doors going, hey, I'm your local neighborhood solar guy and I can save you money, it's going to cost less to be why should I go solar? Savings. Yeah. If that's how you're selling solar, people are going to be disappointed and be like, why did we just waste an hour and a half to find out we're going to save $38? I mean, we're not going into. So you have to know, if you do this correctly, a solar presentation should kind of freak somebody out. Yeah. They should look at this thing and go, oh, damn it, I didn't know that. Oh, wow, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. So I'm curious.
This is only $38 a month more? All right, where do I sign?
Yeah, so I'm curious, so for people that, because you know how it is, there's some people, attention span really short. You can't, sometimes it's tougher to build pain because I gotta get to the point, show me the numbers, do this. How do you adjust your presentation maybe based on guys that different personality types and people that are trying to maybe rush you? Yeah,
that could be a challenge. I liken it, and I do training with people on how to shake somebody's hand. Shake my hand. That seemed like a pretty good handshake? It was exactly your handshake. So I'm instantaneously reading how you shake hands. Because when somebody shakes hands like you do, your impression of them is, decent. That was a good start. Seems like a good guy. He has a good handshake. Right? Now give me a limp toast handshake. Right? I'm gonna limp toast back, right? Squeeze the limp toast guy. That guy's a jerk. So in a presentation, you're going to be reading what the customer's IO, input output rate is, right? How high a level are they? What frequency are they? And if somebody wants to really capture this in 17 minutes, man, we're gonna get this shit done in 17 minutes. If I'm here an hour later and I know they don't really get it, then we got more ground to cover. You know, so you got to really be perceptive and reading their frequency level. I got to go backstage with Sam and Erwin McManus, who's the author of the 7 frequencies and stuff. He's going to be with us in Iceland, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
When we do the Circle trip, international trip. It's really being able to read and perceive. That's really kind of what our job is to find out. Our job isn't to talk. Our job is to get them to listen. So how can we pick up on their ability, their input output speed, their frequency level? So if somebody wants to just have an entire presentation by asking me questions, I'm like, let's go. I'll let them have it, and I'll take back control where it makes sense by asking them questions. Oh, you don't know that, so let me explain that to you. Just show me the number. Well, the number involves a massive amount of money from the federal government. Do you know what that is? Do you know the amount you're getting? What are you entitled to? No? Well, let's go over that. So here's the da-da-da-da-da-da. So we're going to cover that. By the way, the solar number isn't about the solar equipment. It's about the interaction between you and the utility. Do you know how much you're getting paid from the utility? by selling them power every day?
No.
Let me show you how that works.
Okay.
All right,
So you like making them realize that they need to hear the information?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea.
Oh, you're ignorant about that. Oh, I'm not. Let me explain it to you,
Okay.
right? So just give me the number guy. And even if they had 3 solar guys, they probably don't know that stuff. You know, so the 3 things that I'm going to make sure I have covered before I get into a proposal is the 3 things that are way more important than the proposal. So, and that's, how do the federal tax credits work? Do they understand it? How is the utility interaction work? Do they understand it? And then how does inflation bear on this whole conversation? And we're going to have, it's not going to be a long conversation. We're like, are you showing them charts and graphs? If I get that guy, I'll show him charts and graphs. We'll geek out on, you know, finance charts and graphs about inflation. If he's that guy, I'll geek out with him. But if it's just the guy that needs to, you go, oh, okay, well, you're an expert, you know what you're talking about. So my utility costs are going to double in the next 5 to 7 years? Yeah, that's happening. It's already happening. So in fact, we're already a third of the way there. Utility rates have gone up 30% in just the last 3 years. So I mean, the graph of the curve is like that. In Canada, we had some guys here from Canada in my MOD call this morning. Utility rates have went up 1,000% in the last 7 years.
Holy cow.
They went from 14 cents to, you know, 30 cents.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is not this is not good news. When you see a graph that does this is really bad news. It's going to have a massive impact. And we might as well not talk about solar unless you understand, because the entire thing is about that.
Yeah. Incredible. Well, Mike, we could go on forever. I know we got stuff to get to here, but last question before we wrap up. So I don't know if you were at the solar sales panel yesterday, but one of the questions Danny Pesci asked the guys up there was, he said the stat that we're at like 55% cancellations as an industry.
Wow, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible stuff. I'm sure your company's much better than that, but yeah, I'm not surprised. I've definitely seen that in a lot of reps though. So what do you think? What do you think reps are doing, or for you guys, what do you think is, I know you mentioned just dropping off like a customer gift. But is there anything else you guys do in specific that you think can help decrease this number?
I have a very elaborate training that's a result of a mastermind of the best solar reps in the whole country telling me what they do, because I never had to worry about it. I never did a lot of training on reducing cancellations. I mean, I could have probably made it better, but my cancellation rate was about 18% through 12 million watts of solar. So can I fix it? Probably could have made it a little better. In the beginning as a sales rep, and I had my first cancellation, I just drove over to their house and and I recommend driving over to their house. So I never, ever call anybody that cancels. I recommend you just drive to their house and then show up and say, hey, my office just messaged me that you guys have some concerns and we may need to stop the project. I have the paperwork with me. Can I come in? Okay, we got to get back to a cancellation is just the customer letting you know that they found their objection. And what's our job? Overcome objections. Oh, good. The salesman is needed. So in my company, that's called shaky, not cancellation. When the customer cancels, that means they're shaky. So you need to get back to the cancellation, get back to the table and make them shaky. What can we do to, have that happen less, to make that? Our cancellation rate has gone up in the last year and a half as well. It's nowhere, oh my God, 55%, I would just commit suicide. I would kill I'd just put a bullet in my brain. If I had a 55% cancellation rate as a person or as a company. We're nowhere near that, but it's above where we were historically at that below 20% rate. It's crept up. So we're really focused on that. I have a very specific training about what to do, tactics during the presentation, during the close. I'm doing my close differently, so that people have some time to breathe on the idea that they're not getting solar and let them be sad about that a little bit, before I move into the close and the today only close on that, so that I can spend time there in that realm of, you're not getting solar. So tell me why. What are your main concern? After I leave, what are the 2 of you going to talk about? About why you shouldn't move forward with solar now, right? I'm here, at least bounce it off me. Sure, let's put this in your email, right? Yeah, sure, you can have it. I won't be the one coming back, but whenever you're ready, our company will be ready. But so spending time getting them to give you the objections. I get really lazy because my close is so good. I can just blast pie them and get them signed. And then they wake up the next morning and they go, yeah, but we're moving or whatever, we're gonna move someday. So I've really slowed that down, and I've got I'm on a road show right now doing that training, doing that in Vegas next week. I'm in Texas doing it the week after that. I'll be in Florida later in the month doing that reduced cancellations training. I'm going to be at a big deep dive in Houston at the end of the month with Jay Cass doing one. So So I'm really trying to get that message out there, and I think it's important. But the main thing is, no matter how bad they are, do whatever you can, get the training to improve it. Understand it's part of the numbers. Like even at 18%, it was devastating, right? You just, it's, oh my God. So understand it's part of the numbers. This isn't magic, it's math. And so I'm more concerned with a whole nother statistic, and that's how many appointments set by setters are turning into sits.
Yeah.
That number's frightening, man.
That's terrible too, yeah.
Oh my God. So, I'm working on that. We're doing trainings for that. But part of it just has to do with how horrible this economy's been.
Yeah.
And so people are like, they say yes to the setter. Yeah, I'll get numbers. Well, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And then the spouse comes home there, honey, tomorrow the solar guy's coming. He's going to show us. What?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
We're not
the
buying
end of the
anything.
world is here. We're not buying solar. We're on the roof looking for the locusts coming over the horizon because this is the end times.
Exactly.
All the Christians on the block are about to disappear. They're all getting beamed up.
Yeah.
Like, we're not buying stuff right now. We're not spending 50. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they cancel the appointment.
Yeah.
And so I've got a great setter training on, after the set is made, how to make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I know that's a big topic. You could do a completely separate podcast just on that.
Right, yeah. You know me, I'll love to do it.
Yeah. But no, so definitely go shoot Mike a follow. I know you're going to be announcing, future trainings and all that.
Yep.
And you're speaking at SolarCon coming up here.
Yeah, and all that training's in the academy, so MOD Sales Academy. Oh, I think I was telling you, it used to cost a lot of money to do that. So one of the things that changed is it's now $99 a month to do the whole thing. All the live calls, all the training, all everything. Wow. I've got all my cost out of it, and so we're just trying to make it as stupid, inexpensive, and available and accessible to every single solar rep. And companies also do that with group and enterprise deals and stuff. So I want to make sure that people who need it get the training, and I'm doing it every day, every day.
Yeah, that's super affordable. $99, and I guarantee that's going to make you some extra money. Probably more than $99.
Yeah, right. And your first day. We're gonna save one cancel, get one more appointment, make one more close. Yeah, it'll be stupid.
Yeah, so awesome. So guys, go check that out. And Mike, it's always a pleasure having you on, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
I can't wait for
number 5,
podcast 5 coming to a theater near you. Awesome to do this with you, and I get so much feedback from people all over the place about Solarpreneur and hearing me there, and other people on Solarpreneur. It's one of the things I listen to all the time. So I appreciate and enjoy this developing kind of dialogue we're now having over the course of years and years and years. So it's a lot of fun.
No, it's been fun. So always consider Mike a great friend. Go check him out. And thanks again for coming on, Mike.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you.